Hey, good afternoon. So I know I am like super crazy late today. Thank you guys for bearing with me about migraine this morning. I don't even want to talk about it. It was impossible. So we are going for afternoon pick me up today. But you know what? It's funny. I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about this morning, but it wasn't like really anything super exciting. And then once the headache kind of started to ease, I was listening to my audiobook and I heard this line. And the line said it was talking about a couple that got divorced at the end. It's a thriller book, but it had a couple in it. And it said that the wife, now that she was divorced and free, that she seemed like the type of person who had molded her life around a man. And now that she was on her own, she was free to find the shape she was meant to be. And it resonated with me in kind of a weird way. Not because I'm suddenly single and oh my gosh, I'm free on my own. It wasn't even about that. I kind of got me thinking about the fact that I'm a work in progress. I think in life, most of us are, but also like my characters that I write. I talked about self-awareness last week and how characters are wondering if they're self-aware, if they really understand what's going on. But it got me thinking about the characters that I write and how they're also works in progress. Oh, hi Sheila. I I like to write broken. I think that it probably sounds kind of weird, but I like to write broken characters. People that they're very flawed. People that are going through something, people or have been through something. Or unfortunately for them, I'm gonna put them through something. And I like to kind of take that journey with them, that kind of discovery. And it's usually something to do with, like in the Sin series, fighting back against society. And the girls are put into this box based on, the 1692 and what they're expected to be. And then, of course, what society thinks of the so-called witches going on in Salem. There's so much that's expected, so much that's believed about them. And they're kind of breaking that mold, or at least attempting to. And my Voices series is like that too. Chelsea, she's a romance author, and there's kind of this perception of what that means and how they act and what they write and how they behave just in their normal personal lives. And I think a lot of us go through that. So kind of the idea of breaking the mold and of I don't even really know how, not enough coffee yet, how to say it, but I like the idea of taking characters who aren't perfect, who aren't exactly what we expect them to be, and watching them kind of make that whole character arc that, oh, it's great to see you too. I like taking them on that journey. I like going on that journey with them and kind of seeing how they go from either broken to healed, or how maybe they find out that they weren't really broken to begin with. They just weren't what everyone expected them to be. And so I've been really kind of thinking about that a lot recently, and that resonated with me this morning, talking about finding the shape that someone's meant to be versus the mold they found themselves in. And so as I'm kind of working forward on the Sin series, on a few other thrillers, and then you guys saw that I'm getting ready to do those romance co-writes with Akela Rose. It got me kind of thinking about my own issues with kind of romance. People have asked me so many times in the past, what kind of romance do you write? Because I go to a lot of signings where the majority are romance. And I always answer the kind where nobody falls in love and everybody dies. But I'm a thriller writer, so it's an appropriate answer. However, I am working on developing these series and these co-authored books that have romance in them. And I'll think a lot of it has been my own issues, my own perceptions of what the romance industry is, the romance kind of perception. And for me, it's always been Disney and rom-coms and Hallmark, and that's not me. I mean, please look at this. This is, other than the ears, I don't think I'm very Disney at all. And I know Poe here is deeply rolling his eyes. He cannot stand my little cat ears because, you know, birds don't trust cats, but he's just gonna have to get over it because I love them. And then, of course, Rojo, got my little red panda with me today too. So it's a party. But going back, I'm not the Disney princess rom-com, everything works out perfectly in the end type all the time. Yes, I like to see a happy ending. Yes, I like to see when people fall in love and it works out. And another thing that I am a fan of is sometimes you'll have that couple and they're so perfect together, but at the same time, they're absolutely awful together. They're that couple you want to work, the one that you want to see together. Dating myself tremendously here, Ross and Rachel from Friends. But how many times did they break up? How many times did they try and it didn't work? Penny and Leonard, if you're a little bit more recent with The Big Bang Theory, there's those couples that you love them together, but they don't work. There's something wrong there. And the problem is there isn't anything wrong. Maybe it's the wrong timing, maybe they're not in the right place, but they as a couple actually do work. And I like the fact that these shows are demonstrating that. There's movies a lot of times that demonstrate that. And sometimes they're apart for years, for seasons of the show, whatever you want to use as your time reference. Chapters in a book, even books in a series, they're apart. They try being with other people, but they come back. They come back to each other. And it's because when love is real, when love is really meant to be, even if it doesn't fit the mold, going back to the whole theme of things that fit the mold, it's never too late. It's never too late to make it work. And that can go for thrillers, that can go for romance, that can go for almost anything. If there's a plan in your life, if there's something you want to do as a person going outside the book world, it's never too late to just kind of embrace that reality, embrace your truth, and embrace what works for you. And so I love the idea of romance that can come back. I like the idea of a dream abandoned and then refound. I've been focusing on this quite a bit because, you know, once upon a time I was going to be a professional dancer on Broadway, and then I was going to be a best-selling author, and then, I don't know, I was probably going to travel the world or something. I've done a lot of things, and I've had a lot of dreams that I keep coming back to. And then there's the things that stick and the things that don't. But writing has always been a big one for me, and sorry, the ears are kind of itchy. It's one that I gave up on for a long time. I did. I said that, you know, it's just a hobby. It's not something I'm meant to do. And then I've come back to it, and it's something that I have found a home in. And a lot of it's because of you guys. You guys have embraced me and really welcomed me in. And so now as I'm branching out and I'm doing a little bit more on the romance side, and I'm exploring more of like the paranormal side and things like that, it's been kind of fun to break out of those original perceptions. And of course, the industry itself is always changing. So what at one point Disney and Hallmark were the gold standard for that kind of romance, now small town romance, Hallmark, Disney princesses and everything working out in its perfect happy endings, that's just one possibility. Dark romance is huge right now. Romantic thrillers, romantic suspense, a little bit more of my world. That's such a big thing. And I think one of the reasons I love the idea of doing the reverse harem is that polyamory and stuff like that has become so much more mainstream. And I've admitted myself I'm polyamorous. So I kind of understand that world on a personal level. and being able to feel like I can represent myself in these books and break out of that original perception, that little box that even I'm guilty of putting myself in, is kind of cool. So it hit me this morning talking about breaking that mold and finding the shape you're meant to be. So I feel like it was almost the universe. I mean, it didn't have to do a migraine. That was definitely not fun. But it sent me a little sign this morning to give me something a little bit more fun to talk about. And I am actually going to be cutting this a little shorter. It's not going to be the longest video, just because I am working hard on getting that next group of books out. So look for some of those things as I'm moving forward here. You'll see some of that mold breaking, some of that little different world and different perceptions coming in. There are things that I'm really having fun embracing, and I hope that you guys enjoy it too as these books are coming out. So kind of let me know what you think. And then I did mention it, if you were in Las Vegas last weekend and you saw us, SG Tosh and I, at the author and artist fair, we had an absolute ball at doing our marketing for a multi-genre authors event. And then we mentioned that we are going to be doing, if you remember last year, we did the Cocktails with Kenzie. We are starting a monthly thing called Author Happy Hour. And so we're actually going to be talking about that in a little bit, kind of getting ready. And we are embracing, because we're both spooky authors, our Friday the 13th. So you can see I have my, not really the Valentine's type, but I've got my Friday the 13th nails on. So Rojo and Poe and I are all going to get back to work here, kind of get these books going and get this work set up. So that way, oh, thank you. Yeah, the collaboration is going to be a lot of fun. So I will definitely be letting people know when some of those those Akela Rose books are coming out with me. No, I won't be at the event in Tulsa in April. I will actually be cruising Route 66 in April, having fun celebrating the centennial. The Route 66 is very near and dear to my heart. Other than Book Lovers Con in March, my next event is actually in July. So, but I will be, I'll be letting people know where I'm going to be, and this fall I will be everywhere. So keep an eye out for that, and I hope to see everybody out there. Right now, I got to get these books going. So we will see you guys out on the road. Until next week, stay caffeinated.